All right, we're back, and first of all, we would just want to pay tribute to some of the businesses that stand with us and support this show and help put
Yes.
us on the air so that you can see it. Primarily, this is the sponsor of the business segment, DB and Company Printing and Marketing, and that's David Bass. They're over on G Street, right next door to Happy Jack's. Yeah, everybody in Bakersfield knows where Happy Jack's is. Burgers and pies, and so there's their website and phone number. We'll just leave it there. These are the folks that can take any company out there and put you right at the forefront of all the new technology that's out there that is going to lift your business, make it known in a positive way. So,
Yes.
DB and Company, thanks David Bass and your crew for doing that. Legal Shield. Now, you've got home insurance, you got auto insurance, you got all kinds of insurance. This is legal insurance. If you ever need a lawyer, this is where you can have a major law firms at your side, whether the matter is trivial or traumatic, whether it's small or huge, and you don't have to worry about the clock running and $200 an hour and that whole thing. They will stand with you in any legal dispute you have, including identity theft. So there you go, LegalShieldAssociates.com.
And we'd also like to thank our friends at Kern Construction and Electric Incorporated. That's Robert Miller, a longtime resident of Bakersfield and highly skilled in the remodeling of homes and businesses and also electrical. His number is 661-322-5554.
And he's doing some projects around our place, I'll tell you. He's really great. Hey, at the break, I learned something that just before we go to our businessman here that I want you to hear. Tina, you were saying,
Oh,
come on,
Don.
open up.
Open up!
You used to smoke.
Yes, I did.
Tell us how you got started
did
and how you got stopped.
Okay, my sister, if you're listening, this is not to bring you down, but my sister used to smoke, my oldest sister, and she would have there were 9 in my family, and she would have each one, starting from the oldest, go and light her cigarette. And at that time, we used to have to light it off the stove and turn the stove on and light
So
it.
you were the one that actually puffed
I
it.
was,
Okay,
yeah,
I got it.
I'm number 8 in a family of 9. So by the time it got to me, all the others had graduated and they're smoking. So now I am starting and I get to light her cigarettes. And so you take a couple of puffs. So by the time you get back to give her the cigarette, you've taken in some of that smoke. And so I graduated and had my own cigarettes. And after, I don't know how many years, Don, probably many years, too many years. I was smoking, but it wasn't until, and I was one of these, I call myself a Virginia Slim smoker, didn't want to be outside, didn't want a man to see me smoke. And it just felt degrading or something just felt ugly about it. Anyway, I was in the Navy in Washington, D.C., and I started, actually, a few times I experienced a few chest pains, and I really didn't want to smoke anymore. It started to become just ugly. And then I heard a saying, someone said, kissing a smoker would be like licking an ashtray.
I can tell you that's absolutely accurate.
Oh, wow. So anyway, when I heard that had an impact on me. And I started, that and a little bit of chest pain and not wanting people to see me smoke, all that started adding up. And then I was listening one day to a woman on the radio in Washington, D.C. She'd be talking every week. She would have the same story to tell, how she used to go out drinking and smoking and dancing. And then one day she said she asked the Lord to wipe the taste of smoke out of her mouth. And I thought, wow, that is so powerful to be able to speak a thing and it's done. And so I thought, well, I'll try it. And that was as much faith as I had as just trying it. I did. I just spoke it, not with a whole lot of authority or anything, but just, Lord, wipe the taste of smoke out of my mouth. And instantly, now it doesn't happen for everyone instantly, but for me, it was instant. 1985, September, I dropped a pack of Newport cigarettes on the floor and never picked them up again in my life. To this day, I have never smoked another cigarette. I've never desired a cigarette, period. Healed from it, the desire of it, and delivered from going to the store and buying them.
So those Newports are still lying on the floor somewhere.
No, they swept them up a long time ago. But no, never again have I desired another cigarette. period.
Thank you for opening up about that. Who knew? Who knew?
I'm open.
Who knew about Tina?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Don, for bringing that out of me.
And now we want to talk, and we'll extend this time.
Yes,
we want to
yeah.
talk to Skip Chandler
Yes.
from SC Communications Inc. All right, Skip.
Yes.
Thanks for being patient as we
Thanks for
chat
having
away
me.
here.
Thank
And
you, Skip.
we want before we know about your business, we'd like to know about you, Skip.
Yes.
So tell us about you and your life and how you got to this field.
Well, actually, I was telling Tina a story yesterday, and basically, I grew up in Manhattan, Redondo Beach, moved to Lakewood basically through high school, met my wife basically down there, and come about the late 70s, we were traveling up here, or I was doing oil business. Matter of fact, do you remember the company Hopper Inc.?
Yes,
It used to be
yes.
right down the street here.
Yeah.
We were in competition against them. My father-in-law was the franchise owner of Idaco, which was International Derrick and Equipment Company out of Beaumont, Texas. And so we built well servicing rigs. And most of our business was coming up here. So they said basically it could have been during Thanksgiving and I would say like 1979. And they basically said, guess what, Pam and Skip, Pam being my wife, that you're moving up to Bakersfield. And I went, oh my God.
Oh my God!
So you got to be kidding me. And we did, and I would say the only bad experience we've ever had was probably the first 6 months, because we moved in January of 1981. I didn't see the sun for about 5 weeks because of all the fog and everything else that was here. And I said, you know what the heck did I do? And back then, too, our kids were fairly small. They were preschool, and we were trying to raise some kids up here. And, ever since then, though, I will never, we have never gone back down to the LA basin, so to speak, and I think it's a great place to be. I think it's a great place to raise kids, and with the camaraderie and basically the businesses that are here, they're great, and they really give a lot.
I want to just build, Skip, on what you said for our viewers. I think when 27 years ago, when I told Betty we were moving to Bakersfield for my job at the CBS station, she just said, "Give me a day to cry." I mean,
Wow.
that was.
There you
And
go.
our mayor, I just want you to know, our mayor says about Bakersfield, no one ever comes to Bakersfield of their own free will, but like Skip, no one ever leaves Bakersfield of their own free will, because once they get here, they discover that Bakersfield, for all the Johnny Carson jokes and everything else, the put downs of this town is no joke.
No
This is a
joke.
wonderful place to live and raise a family. And
Yes.
So, Skip,
Tell us more, Skip.
Well, and like you said, I think it's a great place to be from, so to speak, and it's a good place to put down roots, and it's a good place to raise kids, and it's a good place to have a business and build, because I think the San Joaquin Valley is unique in their economics, and they're unique in what they do and what they provide. I mean, it's so diversified, it's unbelievable.
tell when you say unique, expand on that.
I think that their economic climate is entirely different than the rest of the state of California, because we are very self-dependent, so to speak. We're reliable on relying on ourselves in order to do the things that we do, and I think we've become that way because we had to, because we're kind of isolated more or less in this particular area.
Yeah.
But the people that are here, and, you travel over to the coast, and you're going to run into a lot of people that are from here, and then they know what's going on. But a lot of businesses reciprocate back and forth between anywhere from Los Angeles, Long Beach, all the way on up to San Francisco. There's a lot of ties that are down here to this valley.
Yeah, and you were in the industry. Describe for folks the oil industry, just how big that industry is here in Bakersfield.
It's huge, and again, what brought me here was we were traveling up here I was traveling up here about 3 days a week from '77 to like 1980 before we moved up here. And once we moved up here, remember 1986, which was Black Monday really hit, and the stock market went down. Oil went to heck in a handbasket. It went down to $8 a barrel and everything else. And I think at that particular time is when everyone thought, okay, what's going on, the economy. But again, what's nice about this valley is everything kind of reciprocates around the oil, the ag, and the construction that goes on, all the support services. It's a good place to be. And like you said, I would say within the oil industry, and I don't quote me on this and don't check on this, but I would say that, I've heard rumors that they said basically that the Bakersfield Basin in here, if you take Elk Hills, Bell Ridge, Midway, and everything else and combine them, probably on an economy basis, we're probably the 6th largest economy in the world for oil. I think that's pretty impressive. We produce a lot of oil out of this area.
And like Skip says, Bakersfield is its own thing. It sits out all by itself. It's nobody's suburb. It kind of does everything its own way.
Yep.
And the least California-like city in California, I've heard it. So interesting.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell us more, Skip, about. And I would like to hear more about his company. Are we ready for his company?
we're ready for your
'Cause
company. So
I-
what drew you into the communication business?
You know, it was out of desperation, I more or less. I think come '86, I was given the opportunity to go back down to Signal Hill, go back down to Long Beach with the oil business.
Okay.
And I chose not to. For about the next year, I kind of just fluttered around a little bit. I had some jobs and did some other things, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I didn't want to leave Bakersfield. And just so happens that I just put my resume out one day, and a headhunter happened to grab it and said, you know, we've got this company in town that I think you might be interested in.
We're going to break right there, and when we come back,
back.
we're going to hear the rest of the story.
Yes.
Don't go away.